Hello, my name is Mariana and this is a reading for Capricorn. So Capricorn, as usual, I'm doing your reading with my own deck, so the cards that you'll see are from this deck. But before I jump into your reading today, Capricorn, I just want to share a quick story of what happened in between me pulling your cards yesterday and actually recording it today. So I don't know if you've seen it, but yesterday I posted a video of something different. It's not a tarot reading as I usually post here. It was just a little tip, a simple tip that I use to calm my spirit and to bring my anxiety down. So I don't know exactly what, but I feel like after I recorded that reading, well, that video, not a reading, it was time for me to practice exactly what I was sharing with you, right? It was time for me to pay close attention to this tip that I was, I am so used to it that sometimes I don't even realize that I'm doing it, which is, closing my eyes to focus inwardly. So what happened yesterday was that, yes, I finished recording that video, and as I said at the end of that video, I started pulling cards for you, Capricorn. And I pulled your cards and I saw that the message was already starting to come to life, right? But I tried to record your message yesterday twice, and I feel like everything was happening to prevent that from happening, at least yesterday. And now I feel like I have a little bit more clarity of why was that, because as soon as I kind of surrender to the fact that, Capricorn's reading was not going to happen yesterday, and that was fine, even though, yes, I had, in a way promised that I was going to jump straight away into your reading after recording that video. But I felt like it's part of your message, to be honest, Capricorn. Something that I just found out yesterday after I had given up, in a certain way, recording your reading. And it's something that actually Sen from Sen Tarot, you might know her, she talks about, and she talks about it as naturally as she can, because I feel like this is something that maybe it's really common for her, but I was clueless about this concept and this, how should I call it? It's more than just a concept. I feel like it's a skill or an ability that, people who are in this awakening journey may find, across their paths. And I just found out yesterday, and I feel like this is part of your reading today. And this concept is remote viewing, and I didn't know about it, at least not in the technical terms that I found out yesterday through this scholar named Stephen Schwartz. I watched many of his interviews from yesterday to today, and so now I feel like I am understanding better what your message is about. And I feel like it has to do with this capacity that you might have just found out, that you are able to, well, naturally tune into this remote viewing of your own self, of your own life, Capricorn. And I feel like it's interesting because, well, let's now jump into your cards. We start off with the World card. But yesterday when I was shuffling, maybe it was also part of this process of being more aware of this tip that I shared with you yesterday, right? Of closing the eyes and just, shutting off the world outside and focusing inward. And so I was shuffling with my eyes closed, and I didn't realize that this card had already fallen on the ground. And you know, the reading had already started, and I didn't even realize, because I was so immersed in, well, in nothing in particular. And that's the interesting thing. It's almost like there was this peaceful void in which I was just shuffling as like a meditative kind of action, right? And so perhaps this is the moment where you find yourself in at this time, Capricorn, because there's something to do about your worldview that, you know, in my attempts yesterday recording your message was coming through, you know, and even before I knew about this concept of remote viewing, it was coming through as there's something in your world that is already changing, but you haven't realized. At least it feels like you are so tuned in to yourself, right? That your external world seems to be, well, going through this incredible change, but in your eyes, because you're so immersed, right? Maybe in this inner world instead of this outer world, which is maybe something that is odd for Capricorn, right? Because Capricorn is so tuned into the outer reality, to, you know, what is tangible, right? It's like an earth sign that really connects to this perceivable world. Well, perceivable could be also the inner world, but like this world that you can touch, right? This material aspect of your world. So the reason why I'm mentioning this distinction between the inner world, in which I feel like you are immersed, and this incredible change that is going on the outside, is because the rest of the cards, except for two, so from, you know, 6 cards that are coming next, only 2 are not pentacle cards. The rest of them are all pentacles. So it's your realm, it's your world, the conventional world in which you are maybe used to inhabiting, or it's like the world in which you have lived your entire life. So it's something that, you know, makes your world your world. It's like, it's something that maybe you're going through a phase right now, Capricorn. Maybe you're really, you know, diving into, you know, spirituality more, or more into consciousness and studying things that weren't, you know, your cup of tea perhaps until now. But these internal shifts, right? It's like they are causing this ripple effect that once you move out of this inner focus and you focus outwardly, it's like you are going to be able to perceive this change on the outside too, right? So after the World card, we have these 2 pentacle opening cards, let's say the 9 of Pentacles and the 7 of Pentacles. So these 2 cards are linked to this one, because if you see here, the round shape here is also here in the 7 of Pentacles. The difference between these 2 cards, it's like this feels cohesive and almost like this net that is invisible, because it's all woven together. It's like you don't perceive the individual parts. And this one is exactly the opposite, because there is no net. I feel like there is a little bit of a distinction or perception of the different elements that make up your world, that are building your world, or at least your world view. So it's interesting, because yesterday in the 2 videos that I tried to record for you, your message, this was talking about, you know, and this reminding you, this was before I knew about this concept like fully, or, you know, a little bit more deeply of remote viewing. And so what I was trying to describe here for you yesterday was that this 9 of Pentacles felt like this platform, or this opening door. You know, those planes where, you know, the staircase is the door. It's like, so you have this, it's almost like this it's this portal, but it's also like this ascension or descension kind of portal, right? So this is what the Nine of Pentacles was looking like. And I feel like this is your process of coming out of this incredible immersion of yourself in your own inner world, and in a sense seeing yourself from this outside perspective, as if you could remote view your own life, but not from the inside. Instead, you are able to observe it from the outside. And so you can discern what particles, now it's coming through, what particles are coming together to weave up this net. Or it's almost like you're having this more detailed or more maybe more knowledgeable understanding once you, and you know what, this can be how do I say this, it's like, how can you apply this in your life, Capricorn, right? Because this feels like a complex message, especially because, you know, inserting a new concept, at least for me, well, I am grateful that now I have this concept, because yesterday I was trying to explain it without knowing that this concept existed. So I feel like somehow I was trying to describe it in a more step-by-step kind of way. And now I feel like it's like there is this concept embedded here, and I'm trying to apply it to, you know, like a daily life, because I feel like there is this conversation that is happening in a most magical kind of way, I want to say, because of the Magician, that is linking together your inner world and your outer world, right? It's like, maybe because you have, you know, your natural ability being this earthy sign of perceiving your material world, your physical world in such well, in such a wise, but also in such an aware way, right? It's like you really pay attention to the things that are there. So maybe the surprise and the link comes from you now perceiving things with this magical lens. This is what this Magician is talking about. It's like, maybe it's the first time that you are doing this remote viewing, like viewing your life when you go inside. So it feels like, you know, it's like this counterintuitive thing. It's like you can see your side, you can see your life from the outside when you go inside. I know that this may sound like a paradox, but I feel like this is the magic that this Magician's point of view is bringing to you, because maybe you are really good at perceiving things in a more practical kind of way, right? But now you're seeing your life, even your material life, your financial life, your physical life, right, as a human being, but also through a lens that might seem too fantastical to you or too mysterious to you, although it's almost like being in two places at once, right? And this is why this concept, remote viewing, it's so interesting, because it's like traveling in time, but being able to see from this new perspective your own life, right? Your own world. And it's not neglecting or dismissing your natural ability to deal with practical things, right? It's not talking about like leaving that behind and now fully immersing yourself just in this spiritual journey. It's quite the contrary. And this is what I feel like this Magician is here, well, to remind you at first, because it's like maybe this is so out of your comfort zone or so out of your usual perception of your own world that you might have seen your world always in such a mundane kind of way, that now, because you're going inward, you are perceiving the things that, you know, you can touch, that are around you, you know, the objects that surround you, the house that you live in, the bus or the car that you drive every day in. It's like these things that, you know, really make up your day. I'm feeling like, you know, it's like the tiny little things, the places that you visit, the rooms that you inhabit, the people that, you know, you get in contact with. It's like those things, those material aspects of your life, it's like you are perceiving them in a more, it's like you can pinpoint each. It's not all enmeshed into one life, right? Or one worldview. It's like because you're coming out of this maybe conventional or traditional way of seeing your world, right? And gaining this other perspective that is much more, well, I want to say mysterious to you, because it's not the way that you're used to seeing your world. And with these cards coming next, more Pentacles, and then this Three of Cups in the middle. So we have the Eight of Pentacles, the Three of Cups, and the Five of Pentacles. So before I go into the Three of Cups, let's talk about these two cards. So if you see here, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but I'll try to explain. You see here with the Five of Pentacles, there is this almost like an X shape. And with the Eight of Pentacles, I see two X's. It's like they are overlaid, or, you know, it's this weaving together of the fabric of your life. It's like the separate elements that, you know, make your world. In a way, it's like these elements are not as perceivable when you are having this conventional perspective as much as this, right? As when you have this, well, it's almost like detached, right? It's like when you go remote viewing, it's like you have this distance or this time-space fractal, or I don't know how to describe that. It's like you gain a different perspective of the particles, of the parts, of the components of your world. And so this is what I'm seeing here. It's like, well, especially because we have, and I want to say this is the incredible thing here, right? It's like, I feel like whenever we go in this journey inward, I feel like it's always like this very pleasant surprise to find ourselves immersed in love, in pure love, at least is my experience. But I want to say, maybe to you, Capricorn, this might be, remember, it's like, it's the same world, but it's also changing so much. It has already changed so much, because it's the way that you're perceiving it that has radically changed because of the magic touch of this magician, right? Or the magic lens that they are giving to you now, or that, you know, it's not that they're giving, it's almost like by going inward, it's like you are just experimenting and trying it on, right? Something that you haven't seen. And the interesting thing of the Three of Cups, because to me, it's like this imminence of something to be created from love, right? It's like this card that talks about co-creating from love. So it's something that is still in the works, is still ongoing, it's still being shaped, is still being defined. And I don't want to say defined, well, maybe yes, because it's surrounded by pentacle cards. Maybe it's going to be defined by, you know, color and shape and size and, you know, gravity and these, you know, physical aspects of what you are creating. But I want to say mostly this perception that things are all intertwined, but also that they are these separate particles that are combined to make up what you perceive of your world, right? And this shifts depending on your point of observation. It's like if you are, it's hard to say without mixing up, like if you are inside or outside, because I feel like you lose track of it, right? It's like you don't know exactly if you are looking from inside of your world or inside of your, well, it's like inside of your inner world, but also inside of your physical world. So is it really outside? It's like these questions that I feel like you are trying to make sense of what is going on with your ability to now perceive your world differently, because you're seeing that your world is changing, right? It is changing, and it's something that, well, you are being invited to see it from the outside, but also from the inside. I'm sorry if this is so confusing, because it's like you are at the two places at the same time. It's how I'm seeing it. So this is the thing. It's like you are the one. It's like this individual position, right? It's like no two objects can occupy the same space at once, but this is actually defying that, right? This is what this Eight of Pentacles is talking about, and this is what this co-creative energy here in the middle, coming from love, is bringing you. It's like this new perspective, is this new way of creating, because maybe, yes, we have limitations here in this physical dimension, but also if you like see the elements that are, you know, the component parts of this world, maybe two particles can coexist, right, at the same place, in the same place. And I feel like you are coming to that understanding, and I feel like it's part of this understanding. It's bringing you this new emotion that I feel like you have never experienced before, and that is part of what is being created, right? It's like you are understanding maybe something about physics, or, you know, quantum physics, or how your reality is not just the material aspect of it, right? It's like you are, you know, crossing the barriers of space and time to understand your world and see your world from a different view that changes completely how you are able to see it now. It's like it really changes your perspective, but it changes your perspective not just in this logical kind of way, right? What this Three of Cups is talking about is that it changes you, bringing you this new emotion. This is something that I don't feel like you, it's almost like if you know the kind of emotions that you are used to feeling, right? It's like you know that you had felt like a happy moment, a sad moment, a moment of anger, a moment of depression. I feel like this is new. This is a new emotion that you might have never felt before. And so it's not something that it's defined by word, because it's still in the works, right? So perhaps this is a new emotion that you cannot even name it, right? But okay, so this is where we end this part of your reading, Capricorn. I know it's maybe too philosophical, but I'm going to pull more cards for you to see where this is going. And also, I'm going to pull from the astrological runes in the extended reading. So if you want to join me there, I'll be happy to see you. If not, I'll see you next time. Okay, bye!